What's up, guys? Sativa Inc. Here to continue on with the Battlefront 3. I think it should take the armor approach. I've been refining my plan. Battlefront 3 devs, please see this video. Please share this. I'll be tagging this with the devs. Hopefully, the Disney sees this, but the best way that Battlefront 3 can even be made that'll please the fan base, please the developers, make a crap ton of money is the armor approach, but not in a tactical shooter. Battlefront style gameplay, but you have Arma style. Like, you have the single player and you have the multiplayer, but you have full player control. You have a base game, like a foundation, like Arma has. You have different factions, different game modes. You have offline game modes, online game modes. We can make it in like a more casual Star Wars approach. But with it, you have mod support. Because you can't add every character due to time constraints and finances, but you could have mod support, and if Disney doesn't be a bunch of demons and copyrighted, we could add every character with mod support. We could have AI control. The amount of things modding brings to a Star Wars game is ungodly. Like, the amount of things you could do, the players would go ham. It would be a Star Wars fan absolute dream. I'm not gonna say the other word, but you know, the best way for is the armor approach. You don't need microtransactions. You could charge 20, 30, 40, like 20, $30 for the game. Maybe have an expanded version. Maybe, but the expanded version has like a couple extra things. I don't know. Maybe that definitely do not affect gameplay, but are like if you pay a little more, you get the full soundtrack or something. That's how it should be. You can get a little more money, and essentially you get the player's control. You have a base game, base foundation, like Galactic Assault, Supremacy, maybe all the base maps you already have in the Battlefront games re-upgraded for this game, but you also have more maps, and then whatever you can't add on time, you just make as mod support. And what their goal should be is make sure the game runs as buttery smooth. The players have the ability to add what they want and add full player control. This way, it doesn't complicate things. You could just make a foundation, make the factions, make the game modes, make the game, and then add the mod support function, add the internet, make sure you can buy your own server or have community servers, modded servers, you name it. Of course, download speeds are going to be a problem for casual gamers. So basically how the offline function would work is you get automatic offline use. You don't need Xbox Live. You're on Xbox, PlayStation. But if you want to use mods offline, you gotta at least have some way to connect online. Download the mods, you can play them offline. Therefore, you can use mods offline. Therefore, it'll pretty much have a way of like verifying your account is real through offline. Therefore, using your game key that or like your game pass. But if it's on Game Pass, it probably won't work. You probably need to own the game. But essentially, it can verify your the copy version, the key, and it could essentially allow you to play offline with mods. Another thing is that I've thought about this. I've thought every other way includes microtransaction. What Arma has done is an insane thing to do. That should be what Star Wars Battlefront 3 should, because he gets the control of the players. The investors will be happy because they'll be getting a shit ton of money. People be buying the game like crazy. Plus, if you had like VoIP, you had what was it, proximity chat, you had group chat, you had everything. Just get the players go ham, add the base game, make a foundation. You have the Rebellion versus Empire, the Clone Wars, maybe the Resistance. I'm not a fan of the Resistance, but you have the Resistance. You'd have the Old Republic versus the Sith. You could even have like bounty hunters versus space pirates. You could have like spaceship combat. The amount of things you could do with this approach is insane. Like you could have it on a solid game engine. Maybe Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal Engine 5 has proven itself to be very performance intuitive. Like it struggles to run on my 4050 with 32 gigs of RAM and an i5 13420H. Like man, I think we need to like figure out a game engine. We could do the armor approach and it'll allow us to just make a foundation, make a game, and then let the players go ham. Have a couple, have heroes, but there's a lot of things we just simply don't. The devs will not. It would take 20, 30 years to fully flesh out a Battlefront game. Dude, all the lore, all the stuff. That's why if you let the modders do the work, They don't get paid. They just make the mods. They do it for free because they have a compassion for the game. A lot of modders don't get paid. Some of them get paid, but not all of them. And that's why it should be power to the people, power to the fan base. Just make the foundation, make the game. Another thing I also have thought of is cheaters, so we would need like a battle equivalent for this game that deal with cheaters, but also like just letting the player just make the foundation. I've said this 100 times in this video, but this is the best way. Armor approach. Armor's already proven you can make a foundation of a game and let the players go ham, and then, well, you have a very good, solid, very surviving game. And Armor Reforger is a darn good game, and now Battlefront 3. With the mod menu, the offline, heck, you could even add expansions to the game, like add stuff in game in case you want to further expand the base sandbox. So if you're gonna play base, you just have like the Star Wars weapons. You may even be able to add destruction physics if it allows it. It's crazy what you could do with this game. It would likely be Battlefront 3, but you should have it for freedom to the people. Big game, have up to like 100 players per match, for like 128. Like, what was that, like 64 players on each team? Yeah, that would be awesome in a Star Wars game. And then who knows if the technology progresses, we could have it to where we could have like planet on planet battles where like you could have it would this is like just talking way out there, but you have essentially like the clone. You have multiple planets, you got space, you go from the planets, you fight on the planets, you fight in space battles. You pretty much want to win the battle in space and on land, but you also want to capture all the planets. It'd be something like that. That could be a thought. The armor approach is best, and we just make the foundation, the factions, and everything that's based in the game. Then you can let the players go ham, and this is the best way to go about it. I'll be tagging Disney, be tagging EA, be tagging everyone I need to, because this is the best way that as a long time video game and Star Wars fan, and seeing what games have become. This is the best way to avoid microtransactions. And I thank you for listening. I kind of went on a rant, but I thought about this heavily. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you. Sativa Inc. out.